This is CBC Winnipeg News.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. The mayor has unveiled the city's proposed budget for next year, and it includes the most expensive project in Winnipeg history. Upgrades to a sewage treatment plant, and every penny is being borrowed. Here are some of the highlights. Spending on all city services, everything from policing to snow removal to insect control, is going up about 5%. The operating budget will be nearly $1.5 billion in 2026. Property taxes pay for most of this, but they're not going up as high as they did last year. The rate hike in 2026 will be 3.5%, almost 2.5 points lower than last year. And city spending on infrastructure like buildings and equipment is going up dramatically. The capital budget will be $1.2 billion, up from under $600 million last year. Now, this is mainly because of one project, $547 million to complete the final phase of the city's largest sewage treatment plant. Infrastructure spending got the biggest boost in Winnipeg's new budget, but most of that, as we said, is going towards one project. The budget also includes a plan to increase staffing for firefighters and paramedics. CBC's Cameron McLean joins us live in the studio with more details. So, Cameron, what types of projects will that big infrastructure budget pay for?
Well, as we just mentioned, the city plans to spend $1.2 billion on capital projects this year. That's up 77% from last year. But most of that, or $500 million of that, is going to the final phase of the North End sewage treatment plant. The city doesn't have that much money, and unlike the feds and the province, it can't run a deficit. So it has to borrow the money. And that is going to put the city right up against its debt ceiling, meaning if the city needs to borrow any more money, it can't. The province ordered to do this work back in 2003. Mayor Scott Gillingham says there's a lot the city could be doing now if past governments had taken action sooner.
Not only would we not be coming up against a red line deadline of 2032, we'd also would have funding available for new recreation centers, redoing our arenas, upgrading our libraries.
The city also plans to spend more than $100 million on new bus purchases. That's more than double what it spent last year. How many buses that will buy depends on factors like inflation and what types of buses the city decides to get.
Okay, so Cameron, overtime and workers' compensation claims have driven up emergency services costs in recent years. So how is the city planning on dealing with that?
They're creating a resource pool of firefighters who will be available to fill absences. They won't be assigned to a specific station. They'll move around wherever they're needed. They'll start with 10 next year, with plans to get to 40 by 2029. Finance Chair Jeff Brawadi says the pressures of the job have increased.
Even since COVID, we didn't see a real reduction post-COVID in terms of overtime and challenges with staffing at Winnipeg Fire Paramedic Service. Mental health is real, the demographics of our employees have changed, and the reality is the staffing ratio hasn't really kept up.
The city also plans to add 11 new paramedic positions.
All right, Cam, so what happens now?
Well, each standing policy committee will hear from delegations about the budget. There are meetings scheduled over the first couple of weeks in December where people can go and voice their opinions about the budget. Council will then vote on the final budget on December 17th. Brittany?
All right, thank you. That's CBC's Cameron McLean. A Winnipeg couple have pleaded guilty to multiple counts of animal cruelty. The two were arrested last year, selling videos of themselves torturing and killing nearly 100 animals. CBC's Caitlin Gowerluck was in court, and a warning to viewers. Some of the details in this story are disturbing.
More than 60 cats, plus birds, rabbits, hamsters, goldfish, a frog, and an axolotl. All of them animals a Winnipeg court heard were killed by a couple who sold videos of it online.
Irene Lima and Chad Kabitz pleaded guilty Friday to 6 counts each of animal cruelty. They were arrested last year after Manitoba's provincial vet got an anonymous tip about a Telegram messaging group selling videos of animals being crushed to death. Prosecutors say Lima would crush the animals under her bare feet, while Kabitz filmed. Videos court heard often had a sexual component. Friday's hearing brought out protesters who say they hope Lima and Kabitz get the harshest sentence possible. The group has been coming to court since the beginning.
It started just because the severity of it, just how bad it was, how many animals were involved.
Kabitz's lawyer says the facts of the case are hard to stomach for everyone.
The facts are obviously disturbing, but I'm a defense lawyer, and sometimes these are the things that we have to do on a daily basis. Can eat away at us too, like we're human.
Meanwhile, Lima's lawyer says he understands why people are angered by the case, but says details expected at sentencing could help people understand it more.
You'll have more clarity as to why things happened, and look at both Mr. Kabitz and Ms. Lima with some compassion. They're not the monsters that a lot of people think they are.
Court heard the videos made a profit of about $2,800 from May to October last year. Crown Attorney Boyd McGill said the content of those videos is proof of the animal cruelty, and it is impossible to watch these videos and conclude that the animals are not suffering and in pain.
Lima and Kabitz are expected to be sentenced at a later date. Prosecutors said they plan to ask for the same sentence for both, but didn't say what that would be. Caitlin Gowerluck, CBC News, Winnipeg.
He helped get traffic tickets for his friends thrown out. Favors done in exchange for gift cards and booze. But the ticket fixing scandal that has one Winnipeg police constable facing likely jail time may just be the tip of the iceberg. The CBC's Bryce Hoy explains.
Let's say you've been pulled over for texting, but you've got a friend on the force. So you text him a photo of the paper ticket. Your police friend gets his police friend to make it disappear. That's exactly what veteran Winnipeg Police Constable Elston Bostock did back in 2019. Last week, Bostock pleaded guilty to a variety of offenses, including attempting to obstruct justice through ticket fixing after trying to fix tickets 22 times, and in 12 of those cases, his fellow officers went along with it.
If a justice system does not want itself to fall into disrepute, it has to create certain kinds of safeguards between...
University of Winnipeg Criminal Justice Studies professor Kevin Walby says this isn't the first ticket-fixing scandal in Manitoba. In 1988, over a dozen lawyers, judges, and others were charged.
There's no question that it has hurt the public's confidence in the judiciary. I think it's incumbent upon the Attorney General to come forward now with programs which guarantee that this won't happen again.
Walby says it seems like police are still using antiquated tools like handwritten paper tickets.
They have engaged in computerization of other aspects of policing. But isn't it curious that on the ticket side of things, they're still using this 1950s-based technology?
CBC News asked Winnipeg Police if they are making any changes to try to prevent ticket fixing, but they won't comment until court proceedings wrap. Manitoba RCMP moved from a paper to electronic ticketing system over a decade ago. Once a Mountie scans a license and fills out ticket info in their cruiser, it simultaneously uploads to RCMP and provincial databases. RCMP say officers can't retract or modify a ticket without the system asking them why it was canceled. Walby says the latest scandal may warrant a public inquiry.
I think there's enough here to say there's a leadership and culture problem at WPS that WPS can't be trusted to fix.
Now, Winnipeg Police wouldn't say whether other officers named in the ticket fixing face charges. Federal drug charges that Bostock still faces are expected to proceed through court this month. Bryce Hoy, CBC News, Winnipeg.
All right, time now to bring in weather specialist Riley Lachuk. And Riley, a number of people outside this afternoon really just trying to take in this lovely weather we're having for November.
Oh, no kidding. I bet a lot of people probably trying to find something to do, some excuse to be outside this afternoon, Brittany, because very nice, above seasonal once again across parts of southern Manitoba, much of the north actually sitting above normal as well. Our hot spot in Manitoba today, Morden, at just about 17 degrees this afternoon. I mean, a little ways away yet from a record in Morden, in the Morden-Winkler area, but warm nonetheless. Morden was also the Canadian hotspot for some time this afternoon until Outlook Saskatchewan got up to 18 degrees and beat us out on that one. Okay, across the rest of the south, 10 degrees in Winnipeg at the airport. We actually reached my high of 11 downtown this afternoon, 12s in Brandon and Dauphin. And you can start to see where that cold front sits across parts of the province right now as it sweeps across. That, as expected, has triggered some showers across the south and a couple sprinkles here and there in Winnipeg through the late afternoon hours. Even some pockets where we did see some heavier rain starting to pop up into extreme southern Manitoba. Not totally unexpected as we get a new air mass moving into the province here. We're looking at temperatures dropping to -2 overnight in Winnipeg. We'll get some clearing after a few more showers, -1 first thing in the morning, a mostly sunny sky. And in behind this, watch for the winds to pick up out of the northwest, so a bit on the breezy side as we get through the day on Saturday, Brittany, and up to 2 degrees. Your full forecast is coming up.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
With changes on the horizon for the next CFL season, will fans get on board or could diehards jump ship? More on that ahead. Grey Cup kickoff is this Sunday, and fans from across the country are in Winnipeg to watch the Rough Riders clash with the Alouettes. But this Sunday will also be the last CFL game played before new rules are implemented for the 2026 season. Today, the CFL's commissioner told fans the changes would improve the game. But as CBC's Mike Arsenault shows you, some think it'll do more harm than good.
The Grey Cup Fan Festival in downtown Winnipeg is attracting CFL fans from coast to coast. But inside Princess Auto Stadium, the tone was different, and the rule changes coming to the CFL next season were top of mind. CFL Commissioner Stuart Johnston says the main goal of the rule changes is to grow the league and create more excitement on the field.
These rule changes really protect what is Canadian about our game and allow us to show all the improvements we've talked about. And when I took that to the Board of Governors, it was absolute enthusiasm and support.
In September, the CFL announced a series of rule changes slated for next year, including a longer play clock, a revised rouge rule, a smaller field, and moving the goalpost out of the end zone. Some fans have speculated the changes are designed to make the CFL more like the NFL to attract new fans.
Well, that's not what we're doing. We are 3 down, 65-yard wide, 12-player league.
Economics professor Moshe Lander says most CFL teams aren't profitable, so changing rules makes financial sense.
How are you going to build out this sport? You have to find a way to get the American audience. And if the American audience loves the NFL, if young people in Canada love the NFL, then give them the NFL.
Fans I spoke with had some strong opinions on the issue.
It made me sad and then angry, you know, that they're tinkering with something that goes back 112 years.
It's still 3 downs. You still have the waggle. It's still 12-man football. You still have the same width of the field. So to me, it's still unique. It's still Canadian football.
We are Canada, and it's going to change everything about the game. And I think we should just keep it how it is.
The CFL Players Association says they weren't consulted before the rule changes were announced. They've talked with the commissioner since then and say they won't be excluded again.
Whether these rule changes are positive, time will tell. But I think that players are open to it. And like David and I said before, the process will be better with us being included on the forefront.
Johnston was adamant the game will stay Canadian. He says even if the league expands, the CFL wants that growth to happen in Canada. He says the Rules Committee is going to review the effect of the rules once they're implemented. Mike Arsenault, CBC News, Winnipeg.
Sioux Valley Dakota Nation members are still waiting for the results of their election for chief and council after ballot counting was unexpectedly disrupted last night. The count was stopped by an official over safety concerns. RCMP say police were called to help keep the peace after a threat was made toward an electoral official. They say as of now, the threat remains unsubstantiated and no arrests have been made. Community members say the election has left people upset.
I've never seen it get to this point. And it's like it's a learning process, right? Like trying to make sure that it's done legally, trying to do what the community wants, trying to keep the community informed. We're doing the best that we can.
Earlier this week, the current chief, who is also seeking re-election, was arrested on historical sexual assault charges. He remains on the ballot. Election results are expected tonight. It's not known whether everyone in the community will accept them. A state of emergency has been declared in the Island Lakes region in northern Manitoba in order to contain an outbreak of hepatitis A. Garden Hill, St. Teresa Point, Wasagamak, and Red Sucker Lake have all been affected by the outbreak of the viral liver disease. Residents are being warned to take immediate protective action. Hepatitis A can be spread through contaminated water or food or close contact with infected people and contaminated surfaces. A provincial spokesperson says Manitoba Health is aware of the outbreak and is supplying vaccines. An affordable housing complex won't be built on a Winnipeg parking lot unless the curling club next door is happy. The ruling from the Manitoba Municipal Board says the City and Granite Curling Club must agree on an adequate parking plan that satisfies both sides. The club has maintained the proposed development would make the club unviable because they would lose too many parking spaces. The club says they don't want to lose any spaces, but they're open to finding a solution and suggested the city could turn other nearby land into parking. Another downtown restaurant was damaged by fire early this morning. Emergency crews were called to La Roca Restaurant and Bar on Smith just before 6. They arrived to find smoke and flames on the building's exterior. No one was injured. The cause of fire remains unknown. The business took to its social media to say the fire was contained to the back patio and that it's been cleared by inspectors to open the inside restaurant. It joins a string of restaurant fires this year, which include Bougie Restaurant and Bar on Main just last month. Riley back in now. Riley, it is going to be a very busy weekend in the city between the Santa Claus parade, the Grey Cup, all the festivities, and people really want to know what's it going to be like for them out there.
You know what? We're actually seeing temperatures, Brittany, return closer to the seasonal mark. So today was kind of a treat, the little treat to end the week. But still, we're looking at a lot of sunshine as we head into the weekend. So we have that to look forward to, at least. Looking at our upper level pattern, and you can start to see that shift in air mass from that ridge of high pressure that we've been under into a bit more of a cooler situation with some more northerly air moving in. So you can start to see that ridge to the east of us here starting to break down as we got through the day today. That's what helped surge temperatures with some of that southerly air from the southern states funneling up into parts of the southern prairies. But you can start to see a trough starting to form here in the jet once again. And that's going to shift things around back to a more northerly or northwesterly flow and usher in some cooler air from northern parts of the country and take us back to something closer to where we should be for this time of the year. So you can see that cold front triggering some showers in through southern Manitoba and northwestern Ontario, and even back onto the Saskatchewan side where that front has passed already, some of this falling as a few flurries even as we get into the evening hours here. So this is all connected to this area of low pressure that it's now over northern Manitoba. Most of the snow for the north is done. However, do expect along the Hudson Bay coast a few flurries or some lingering periods of light snow in behind this as we get into the day on Saturday. This frontal boundary starts to push through as we get into the overnight hours, and in behind that we see that shift in wind to more of a westerly or northwesterly wind overnight tonight. But that also helps to clear our skies out a bit as we get high pressure setting in behind this. So expect by the time we get up in the morning a mostly to mainly sunny sky, really for most of south and central Manitoba. Still some leftover cloud cover through much of the north, and out of some of this, some winds that are strong enough to maybe even kick up some lake effect from the northern basin of Lake Winnipeg. As some of this cooler air interacts with still the open lakes and the relatively warm water on those lakes as we head into the day on Saturday here. So there's that risk there. The rest of the weekend looking mainly sunny for most of us, really across southern, central, and much of northern Manitoba, and then we'll get a bit more cloud cover rolling back in as we get into the day on Monday. So what this is translating into, this is on top of what's already fallen northern Manitoba, is another maybe 2 to 5 centimeters. Lower the further east you are, or the further west you are into northwestern parts of the province, but certainly could pick up another 5 centimeters along the Hudson Bay coast, for example. So temperature-wise, bit of a cooler start tomorrow once we get into the morning hours. -1 in Winnipeg, -3s through Dauphin, Swan River, Brandon, -6 in Thompson. In the long range, we'll try for 2 degrees for both Saturday and Sunday, so prepare for a bit of a cooler one if you're heading to the Santa Claus parade tomorrow. Talk about that a bit later on, and Brittany, temperatures staying close to the freezing mark as we get toward the middle of next week.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
We have much more to come after the break. Stay with us. In the Middle East, the ceasefire between Israel and Hamas continues to hold after 5 weeks. But phase 2 of the U.S. brokered peace plan could have some hurdles to clear. The U.S. wants a temporary stabilization force in Gaza to protect civilians and secure aid routes. But the proposal is meeting strong resistance from some countries. The CBC's Tom Perry is in Jerusalem with more.
What the U.S. is looking for is for the United Nations Security Council to give its backing to Donald Trump's 20-point plan for Gaza. We've seen phase 1 of that plan in effect right now. The fighting, for the most part, has stopped in Gaza. Aid is getting in. Israeli hostages have been released. One of the last remaining deceased hostages, their remains were returned to Israel last night. Palestinian prisoners have been freed in return. Phase 2 of this agreement calls for Gaza to be demilitarized, for there to be a board of peace headed by Donald Trump to oversee a transitional government, and for an international stabilization force to go in and work with Palestinian police to provide security in Gaza. What the U.S. wants is the UN's legitimacy on this peace plan so that countries would be more willing to send troops as part of this international stabilization force. We've seen some countries mentioned, like Azerbaijan and Indonesia, but no one has put a firm offer on the table. So by getting the UN's backing, some more countries might come forward. But the fact is there are other complicating factors. Part of this peace deal calls for Hamas to put down its weapons, to disarm. Hamas has not done that. And so countries, even with a UN resolution, might still be reluctant to send their people into Gaza if they're going to come face to face with armed militants. Now, as the U.S. is trying to get this through the Security Council, countries like Russia, China, some Arab countries are raising questions of their own. The Russians have put forward their own resolution, which they say is simpler and more unified, this while they're pursuing their own war in Ukraine. But what the U.S. says is that all these countries are really trying to do is sow discord. Tom Perry, CBC News, Jerusalem.
Ukraine has endured yet another night of Russian air attacks from drones and missiles. Several places were hit, but the capital was the main target. The CBC's Anna Cunningham has the story.
These overnight attacks on Ukraine's capital were heavy. Russia pounding Kyiv with drones and missiles. Ukraine says 11 residential apartment blocks took direct hits and 9 regions of the capital had fires. President Volodymyr Zelensky has responded on social media saying this: "Once again, Russia has launched a heinous attack against Ukraine, our people and ordinary residential buildings." This was a deliberately calculated attack aimed at causing maximum harm to people and civilian infrastructure. Russia insists it does not target residential areas, but the cleanup paints a rather different picture in Kyiv, where residents are seen left dazed and shaken, the injured and the dead taken away by emergency services. Ukraine says it also carried out attacks on Russia overnight. This footage released by the Ukrainian Presidential Press Service reportedly showing the weapons used. These are long Neptune cruise missiles. Russia reporting damage said to be on the Black Sea port of Novorossiysk. Ukraine's allies have again met to discuss their support. Germany's Defence Minister Boris Pistorius hosting his British, French, Italian and Polish counterparts in Berlin. And today, Germany agreed to pay in euros the equivalent of some $245 million for weapons to Ukraine.
The threats against our nations and against Europe have only increased, with reckless drone incursions into Poland, Russian jets flying over Estonia, and NATO nations consulting through Article 4, not once but twice. Russian aggression is growing, the war in Ukraine continues to rage, and the US has rightly challenged European nations to do more.
As the cleanup continues in Kyiv, there remains no evidence that this war is anywhere close to a peaceful resolution. Anna Cunningham, CBC News, London.
An investigation focused on the opioid crisis conducted by the CBC's The Fifth Estate reveals that Health Canada has ignored their own experts' advice about safe alternative to toxic street drugs. And as Stephen D'Souza shows us, instead of expanding access to safe drugs, Health Canada has cut funding. What you're about to watch contains drug use and may be disturbing.
For TJ Felix, every day brings the risk of death. A chronic drug user, they started using a dangerous mix of fentanyl and methamphetamine 2 years ago, after losing access to a safe alternative to the toxic street supply.
I was overdosing like upwards of twice a day.
Felix was a member of DOLF, the Drug User Liberation Front. The Vancouver Compassion Club was co-founded by Jeremy Calicum in response to the rising number of opioid overdose deaths. In 2022, Health Canada denied their application for an exemption to federal drug law, so DOLF bought illicit drugs on the dark web, tested, and then sold uncontaminated heroin, cocaine, and methamphetamine to a select group of users.
People really just had no resources or way to keep themselves safe.
But in 2023, Calicum was arrested and charged with drug trafficking. Now a Fifth Estate investigation has found the same year DOLF was shut down, Health Canada ignored recommendations from its own experts to expand access to more prescription opioids and stimulants, and for the government to consider legal and regulated compassion clubs and retail stores.
Disappointing, compromised, and just maintaining the status quo of which was thousands of people dying.
Last week, a BC court found DOLF's founders guilty of drug trafficking. They're now fighting back, arguing drug users have a charter right to a safe supply.
We think there's a real constitutional issue here that needs to be addressed if we're ever going to get to the point where we don't have thousands of people dying every year from preventable deaths.
I can't stand the thought of my friends going to jail for this, for saving lives. I'd be dead 10 times over if it wasn't for them.
You can watch the Fifth Estate investigation, The War on Safe Drugs, right now on YouTube or at 9 p.m. tonight on CBC Television and CBC Gem. Netflix and YouTube are pushing back against Quebec's new French language bill, which is intended to promote Francophone content. The proposed law would make apps default to French, set quotas for French video and audio content, and require smart TVs to spotlight French programming. The American streaming giants say the new measures would disrupt user experience and reduce accuracy of recommendations. As global companies, they say different versions in each market wouldn't work. Canadian companies have mixed feelings about the law. Most are sympathetic of the province's desire to protect the French language, but they're concerned about the practical, financial, and competitive challenges involved. Fines for not following Quebec's new rules could reach up to $300,000. Ontario's controversial ban on speed cameras takes effect today across the province. Cameras can no longer be used to issue tickets. Provincial lawmakers voted in favor of the change last month after Premier Doug Ford denounced what he described as a cash grab by municipalities. The province has said it will allot $42 million for measures to improve road safety. That includes speed bumps, raised crosswalks, roundabouts, and high visibility signage. City mayors and experts have criticized the province's move to ban the cameras, saying it's a setback for road safety. CBC Marketplace has examined some deep data to come up with the 10 worst commutes in all of Canada. Solving those snarls could involve some tough politics, but co-host Chris Glover starts us off with one unlucky driver.
Some 500,000 people drive this daily, Canada's busiest highway, Ontario's 401.
I make this trip. I've been making it for 8 years.
8 years you've been doing
it? It has been getting worse.
The clogged highway is the worst part of Michaela Helliwell's 2-hour commute. We just came to a complete standstill.
All right, so you can have a stretch now, hands off the wheel.
She responded to a Marketplace call-out.
The worst commute has got to be in Edmonton.
One of hundreds arguing they have Canada's worst commute.
It is always jammed up in the morning.
A University of Toronto research team tracked thousands of drives across the country, finding the average rush hour delay. So Marketplace could determine Canada's top 10 worst commutes, which include Montreal, Vancouver, and #1, Oakville, Ontario to Toronto.
The two main reasons why all of these commutes are slow are compounded here. You have interchanges, many exit roads that create bottlenecks, so it's hell on wheel for these commuters.
This expert says a new fee on key routes would reduce demand during peak hours.
I think congestion pricing is not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. It's inevitable.
In January, congestion pricing was set up in New York City.
Drivers have suddenly become supporters of congestion pricing because instead of spending an hour stuck in traffic, they're saving 20 minutes.
But in Canada, provincial governments must approve new highway charges.
Why is your government dead set against it?
It's something that we just absolutely fundamentally disagree with.
Beyond adding a congestion price, in the past few years, premiers in Ontario, Nova Scotia, and British Columbia removed tolls. Talking to motorists, you understand why.
I don't want to pay a toll. Cost of living is really expensive here.
I wouldn't, because I blame government for allowing too much growth in the area without any planning.
And regardless of what the data says,
there you go. An hour and 50 home.
People like Helliwell feel like they have the worst commute in the country. Chris Glover, CBC News, Toronto.
Now for the full investigation, watch Canada's worst commute tonight at 8 p.m. on CBC TV and CBC Gem.
Firefighters and city workers kept the Flin Flon area safe during the wildfires. I'm Rosanna Hempel, and coming up, we'll bring you more from those who stayed behind and their stories from the fire line.
Hello, assalamu alaikum. So my name is Tasneem, and I'm a member of CBC's Community Advisory Board, or CAB. I grew up where you were taught to read between the lines, you were taught to criticize and give feedback, positive. And so this is so natural to me to do that, and I love that the public broadcaster is open to that, because they represent us, and it can only be better when we voice our opinions.
It's an ending some called a miracle. After being surrounded by wildfires from every angle for weeks this past summer, the city of Flin Flon is remarkably still standing. CBC recently spent time in the community as part of our Communities in Focus initiative. For the first time, we're hearing from some of the firefighters who fought to save the city from burning while it was evacuated. The CBC's Rosanna Hempel brings us their stories.
It's something that weighs heavy on me yet, but will never be forgotten. But I'm glad.
James Doak is among 28 Flin Flon firefighters who battled to save their city from wildfires. The day people fled under a mandatory evacuation order, crews were gearing up for one of their most important fights.
That's where we decided that we were going to make one of our bigger stands.
Fire Chief Jason Curas says between Cliff Lake and Trout Lake, firefighters fought for days as flames and strong winds pushed south and threatened to burn the city down. Captain Darren Romo was there.
We were trying to save all this bush in here.
He says crews held the line, doing exhausting shifts up to 28 hours long, saving the city from potential disaster.
I've dealt with fires like this in the past, but nothing to this scale. You're walking through that bush, and it's thick bush, it's not easy to get through. And up, rock faces, you're carrying hose packs and you're climbing up rock faces, and the guys just put in a lot of work. It was amazing, honestly. The camaraderie we built.
Just 2 days after the evacuation, the wildfire tore through about 17 kilometers of forest in 12 hours. Doak nearly lost his home. He remembers being told it might be gone by morning.
Chief, being the good guy he is, we had a few members, about 7 members there, who were just dog tired, dirty, been fighting all day for days. And Chief walked up to them, who's going to help Doak move his things? And they all stood up and they just came and did it. It was pretty amazing.
By the next morning, embers and winds were wreaking havoc on Sally's Beach Road.
This was a fire that came in very aggressively. It became a real dogfight.
Despite their efforts, a few cabins in a house were lost.
For a lot of my people that are in the Flin Flon department, they grew up here, so they know all these cottage owners. They know everybody here, so it's very difficult to watch somebody else's property, be destroyed.
Curas says a total of 194 firefighters from 53 different municipal fire departments across Manitoba rallied to help Flin Flon during the month-long evacuation. That doesn't include wildland firefighters from outside Manitoba or personnel from the Office of the Fire Commissioner. The nearby airport survived. In the end, so did the city of Flin Flon.
I think a lot of people will look at this as a major milestone in firefighting, but I look at it as it was a major milestone in structural firefighters showing what they can do when backs are up against the wall.
His crews worked for more than 4 weeks straight without any days off. It's an event these firefighters say they won't forget. The community says it won't forget them either. Rosanna Hempel, CBC News, Flin Flon.
All right, Riley, back in now, and just like the past few nights, we're getting our own little concert in here. The Grey Cup festivities are happening just outside CBC here, and you can hear the party going. Lots of people.
Feel that beat.
Lots of people out there getting ready to party the night away in honor of the Grey Cup, in celebration of the Grey Cup that's happening.
And just a very busy weekend in the city. Pack your patience if you're heading anywhere close to downtown this weekend.
A lot going on.
Yeah. Let's start with your Feline Friday forecast. I've got 2 for you tonight because I have gotten so many cat pictures, and I know, I'm sorry, it's taken a while for me to get through some of these. So we'll do a couple of them tonight. The first one we have for you is Lily. Thank you, Monica, for sending this picture. And Lily looks like she's just trying to stay a bit warm there in some of these cooler mornings that we've seen. And the second one I have for you was Whiskey. Thank you, Rick and Arlene. On the flip side, looks like Whiskey might be enjoying a bit of a patio day here. You can send your pictures, as always, to talkback@cbc.ca. So we are looking at brighter skies tomorrow once we see this cold front pushing through, but temperatures closer to seasonal tomorrow, which I'll talk about that seasonal normal in just a moment here. But looking at winds picking up northwest 20 gusting to 40 by the afternoon. And oh boy, there goes Santa. By the time we get that parade happening, temperature around 1 degree in the evening. So we did see a few passing showers here in Winnipeg throughout the day and across much as the south as that cold front pushed through. Officially 10 degrees at the airport. We hit 11 downtown through the afternoon hours today. Not quite close to that record of 16 degrees, which was set back in 1939. Normally for this time of the year, we should be around -2. So certainly we've had some warmer years and some cooler years. This one will go down likely as one of the warmer years for November 14th. Okay, your overnight forecast across the south tonight. Looking at a chance of showers really through the evening hours tonight for the Interlake, eastward into northwestern Ontario. Slight chance of maybe a few more sprinkles into Brandon, -3 overnight, -5 in Roblin, -4 in Swan River, Peguis at -2. And temperatures overnight in northern Manitoba, you're seeing some of the modeling update here on us. So temperatures close to -8 in Thompson, for example, a cloudy sky, -8s, -9s into Flin Flon, the Pas, and OC, and maybe a couple of stray flurries yet to come, particularly Norway House, Barons River. We could see the influence of some lake effect as we get through the day tomorrow, maybe a few flurries into Dooley Lake and Churchill as well. Winds do start to die down. I know it's been a couple of windy days along the Hudson Bay coast. That will start to back off as we get through the day on Saturday as that low pushes a little bit further eastward. But for the south, mostly sunny skies tomorrow, albeit breezy, looking at sustained winds in the west and through the Interlake, 30 gusting 50. More like 20 gusting 40 through the Red River Valley as we head through the afternoon. 2 degrees, a bit cloudier for places like Dryden down into Fort Francis through the afternoon tomorrow. Quick look at your Sunday forecast. Temperatures again hanging close to the freezing mark, 4s and 5s, Brittany, into southwestern Manitoba. And a look at 1 degree in your Sunday for Kenora.
All right, thanks, Riley.
You're welcome.
Dining out at a fast food restaurant used to be cheap, but budget-friendly staples like burgers and fries aren't so friendly anymore. The CBC's Jenna Benchatrent looks at what caused the cost increase and at how restaurant chains are responding.
Fast food is getting too expensive.
It's really the price that has stopped me.
You're spending $15 at least if you want to get a proper full meal, and that's just not sustainable.
That spells trouble for big chains like Chipotle, which is having a harder time getting Gen Z through the door. The brand hasn't sold as much as it was expecting to this year.
What we've noticed is a category slowdown for the 25 to 34-year-olds that are under the most financial pressure.
And Chipotle isn't the only chain noticing a pullback. McDonald's recently said it isn't expecting as many sales from low-income diners next year. So how did fast food go from budget-friendly to overly expensive?
We are seeing higher labor costs, higher food costs, and therefore the average eater check when you go out is higher than it has been in years past.
The price of ground beef, for example, has skyrocketed. 1 kilogram now costs more than $14. 5 years ago, that number was closer to $9. So a lot of these chains are trying to win back cost-conscious consumers with promotions. Burger King says it's seeing more traffic from meal deals like this one.
Burger King has a deal for all.
And a recent survey shows that Gen Z says promotions are a major consideration when they're choosing a restaurant.
We know that younger people, they're looking for value meals. So this is one strategy that a lot of restaurants are using to remain competitive.
The thing is, a good meal deal at one particular restaurant won't necessarily keep a customer coming back.
And they may not be brand loyal, so they'll switch to different brands based on the value offerings.
They might also just be snacking more. You know, girl dinner.
That's a perfect bite.
Young people in particular are telling us that they're replacing traditional meals with snacks, and that could speak to cost concerns or maybe just how fast-paced their lives are.
Chipotle says its biggest competitor for young adults isn't another restaurant. It's the grocery store.
I shouldn't be spending this much money on food, so sometimes I make something at home and eat it here.
I try to cook more now.
I'm a very bad chef, but I still try.
The fight is really going to be around this Gen Z and this alpha consumer in getting their share of spend over the next couple of years.
Jenna Benchitrit, CBC News, Toronto.
Operation Red Nose is celebrating 30 years of getting Manitobans home safely during the holiday season. The campaign kicked off today. Operation Red Nose is a ride service over the festive season where volunteers will drive you and your car home to prevent impaired driving. Donations for the rides go to Winnipeg Kids Foundation.
Last year, we provided 1,108 safe rides across Winnipeg. So that's 1,100 times someone has made the responsible choice and got home alive and well. And this year, of course, we want to aim even higher.
They're still looking for volunteers. People can start booking rides on November 28th, and it runs through New Year's Eve. The Santa Claus Parade returns this weekend. We'll have what you need to know. After the break, Press Riley's back with our last check on weather. Santa is coming to town, and bringing a whirlwind of road closures with them. Several downtown streets will be closed to accommodate the Santa Claus Parade on Saturday. Portage Avenue will be closed in both directions from St. Mary Avenue to Main Street starting at 11 a.m. tomorrow. Northbound and southbound cross streets will have limited access, and a number of other streets in the area will be closed or have limited parking and, of course, traffic. Closure will be lifted at 10 p.m. For a full list, head to the city's website. The parade starts at 5. Some downtown closures for Grey Cup festivities will also remain. And if you're heading to the Grey Cup on Sunday, ticket holders and volunteers can ride for free. Just show your ticket or volunteer ID badge. There's also several park and ride locations available. You can find more info about where they are, of course, on the City of Winnipeg's website.
All right, we're actually looking at a pretty decent weekend weather-wise in Winnipeg for all of those events that are happening this weekend, right from Saturday right through to the end of the game on Sunday. So we're looking at sunny skies tomorrow, turning into a clear night by the time the Santa Claus Parade gets underway. Bit breezy, temperature around the freezing mark once the parade gets started. So maybe dress up the little ones a little bit extra warm if you're heading out tomorrow. And for the Grey Cup on Sunday, looking at a temperature around -1, mostly clear skies, a bit of cloud cover here and there. Your 7-day looks like this, looking at 0 as we head into the day on Monday, a mix of sun and clouds, chance of some late day showers Tuesday into Wednesday. That turns into a slim chance of flurries on Friday and a bit more sun by next Friday. An ancestor of the modern alligator and crocodile family has been discovered.
It's an ancestor from 240 million years ago. So if reptiles are your thing, here's your daily lift. Okay, vertebrae, the lower jaw and pelvis were unearthed this spring. Those bones yielded this image. The reptile roamed what's now southern Brazil during the Triassic period, just before dinosaurs became dominant.
Okay, the teeth indicate it was a predator. Scientists are especially interested in similarities with specimens from Tanzania. It's more evidence indicating the continents were linked in the Triassic times, sharing plants and wildlife.
Isn't it amazing what they're able to find?
Yes.
Pretty incredible.
I would be scared those bones would fall apart when I touch them.
Have a wonderful night. Enjoy all the festivities this weekend.
Have a fun weekend.
Bye.